It's the Larry Kudlow Show. Free market prosperity starts here. Now, here's Larry Kudlow.
Dismal jobs report came out yesterday for the month of October, and I think Mr. Trump should be talking about that. Manufacturing jobs down, private sector jobs down. The only thing up was government jobs. Native-born Americans losing jobs, 800,000 loss over the past year. Foreign-born picking up 1 million jobs. There's something wrong with that. By the way, full-time jobs are falling. Part-time jobs are rising. Anyway, let's talk about it with John Carney, Breitbart news editor for economics and finance and co-author of the daily Breitbart Business Digest, which is a must-read for everybody. John, welcome back. A dismal report. Kind of puts the lie to a lot of what Kamala Harris is saying on the campaign trail.
Yeah, look, one of the things they've been relentlessly attacking Donald Trump over was job losses during the pandemic. And they said, and they don't care that the pandemic caused it. They don't, they just say, oh, he's responsible for it. And they particularly have been hammering him on the fact that we lost some manufacturing jobs. By the way, lost is the wrong word. As you know, we recovered most of those jobs. It's just because we shut down factories, people were out of work. Well, last month, in 1 month alone, they lost, with no pandemic, they lost 46,000 manufacturing jobs. And that's on top of the 6,000 the month before that and the 26,000 the month before that. We've lost manufacturing jobs in 7 of the last 12 months. The manufacturing sector has been in contraction. This is, they can point to a lot of things, hurricanes, say that caused some of the job losses last month. But the manufacturing sector has been in recession for most of the last 2 years and has lost jobs in 7 of the last 12 months. This isn't a 1 month story. It's part of the economy falling apart under their leadership.
I was looking, we were going back yesterday for the TV show. Biden Harris say they created 800,000 manufacturing jobs. But if you take out the bounce back effect, they only created 93,000, whereas Trump, pre-pandemic, 3 years worth, created 414,000 manufacturing jobs. And as you say, manufacturing's been in a recession maybe for 2 years. I mean, you look at the broad sweep of the ISM manufacturing report, the supply managers, plus the lack of jobs or the decline in jobs. And that goes to the industrial Midwest, the so-called blue wall, John.
That's right. Look, and I think that's actually one of the reasons that Kamala Harris's campaign has found that the blue wall has become a red pathway for Donald Trump. It is not actually working for them at all. And it's because people see that the parts of the economy that they were bragging about, I mean, they were literally telling people we were having a manufacturing boom while the sector was in contraction. You're absolutely right that this really affects the Midwest. It affects Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania too. This is the votes they need are the ones that are getting really hurt by their economic policies. And I think that when I looked at the data, the ISM data, it said that the manufacturing sector had been in contraction, so under 50 on the index, for 23 of the past 24 months.
Huh.
And that is an incredibly bad way for this thing to go, especially if you consider all the trillions of dollars that they tried to pour in to subsidize this thing, and it didn't work. Their subsidies don't work because their idea of command and control economy doesn't work. It is actually leading to a failure of the manufacturing sector.
One of the reasons, you're right about that, one of the reasons the subsidies don't work is stuck in those bills are these crazy regulations for DEI. You can't meet them, and the companies don't want to meet them. So guess what? They didn't do anything. I mean, it's really, I guess it's ironic, but it just shows you how stupid these regulations are and why these crazy affirmative action programs would do harm to the companies. The companies don't want to do it. They're in full revolt right now against DEI.
They actually frankly don't want to use these subsidies to promote innovation and to grow the economy unless they can also accomplish their other social engineering goals.
Right.
So that is why they tie these things down with strings, and then why they don't work. Because, as you said, companies know it's not good. Frankly, some of them are impossible to meet. They are either environmental goals that you cannot possibly meet with the technology we have, or social engineering goals where you have to meet certain quotas, you have to do a certain amount of outreach that to hire people into jobs where there just aren't the people to do them. There's only so many people with engineering degrees in the U.S., and a company knows that it can't meet all, the entire panoply of various quota groups that you're supposed to be able to meet. So they know they can't really participate in these programs.
Yeah, I was just looking at your article. Your numbers are almost identical to ours. You have manufacturing up 430,000 under Trump, so we had 414. So I'll call that a push. And the Biden-Harris, I don't know how many did they get? They got.
Well, by the way, the Biden-Harris number is probably inflated. Remember a few months ago, I'm not sure it's positive at all. Remember a few months ago, we heard that they are considering the baseline revisions that we're going to take out a million jobs over the course of the years because they discovered, oh no, they're probably overcounting jobs. I'm not sure that once they do those revisions, and we won't know really where these fall out till next year, that there will be any positive gains, especially after the last 3 months of declines for manufacturing at all. In other words, I'm not sure they ever really had a recovery beyond the Trump baseline pre-pandemic.
I love this. Let's see. White House is arguing Trump's mishandling of the pandemic wrecked the economy, even though the economy was recovering much faster than anyone not named Larry Kudlow thought possible. I mean, thank you for the shout out. But, I'd go out there. I was talking about this on the show with somebody, but it was very difficult. Oh, I know. I was on the morning show, Hemmer and Dana Perino, Bill Hemmer. You can't lie about stuff, John. That everybody's got access to the government, same numbers in the information age. Dial up your computer. I hated it when the economy collapsed in, basically March, April, and May of 2020. I mean, the roof fell in. And I had to go out there and, do the microphones and the cable stations and talk about the huge losses and the hardship. Yes, and it was awful. But I was honest about it. Joe Livornia was, helping me out. And then once it started recovering, we talked about the V-shaped recovery. We were using hard facts. And so it came back 35% at an annual rate GDP in Q3, 4.5% in Q4, and 5.5% in Q1 2021. I mean, Trump handed the Bidens, Harris, he handed them a strong economy with no inflation, gave it to them on a silver platter. And I guess where I'm going on this, looking at these jobs numbers, the only gainers are the government and what you call government adjacent. That was about 90,000, and that's been the theme for years. But those are not productive jobs. Those are not innovative jobs. Those are not high real wage jobs, et cetera, et cetera. That's all they've done. They've just poured government money into this thing.
That's right. And when you can create government jobs, one of the reasons why we tend to try to look past them, and as well as the government adjacent jobs such as social assistance and not all healthcare, but a lot of healthcare jobs, is because they are funded through government, and they're not. And when they are growing, it's not a sign of confidence in the broader economy. It doesn't tell you that the economy is doing well. It tells you that the government is doing well. So you can grow these, and frankly, they tend to grow a lot when the economy is doing very badly, because the government tries to start up programs to hire more people. So it's a good idea to take those away, and what you get is a severely negative number for the last month. And before that, you were either negative or close to zero once you took out the government and government adjacent jobs. This was a terrible jobs report. And Larry, one thing I want to say is that a lot of the spin that's coming out is, it was all weather related. or, it was because of the hurricanes. The 100,000 estimate that economists had out there was including the hurricane. It's not like the guys making the forecast didn't know that we had flooding. They didn't know about Helene. This was all included. So the really bad number is much worse than even expected once you include the hurricanes. It's probably not fully explained by storms. They also try to say don't pay attention to the manufacturing number. That's partially caused by the Boeing strike. That's true, but the Boeing strike is on them. It is a strike against inflation. If not for inflation, we wouldn't have all of these labor union dislocations that we've had for the past year and a half, the UAW, the port workers, the Boeing. It's all because these guys, hardworking guys, fell behind because prices rose too rapidly.
Yeah, take-home pay coming down. You're absolutely right. John Carney of Breitbart, and read his daily Business Digest. It's a terrific product. John, thanks ever so much. Folks, a quick break, and then my pal, the brilliant economist Kevin Hassett, former chair of the Council of Economic Advisors, coming right up. I'm Kudlow. Be right back.
This is the Larry Kudlow Show.
Eden Memorial Chapels understands Jewish funerals can take many forms. Some are Orthodox, while others are more conservative or of a Reformed nature. There's no one better. With services close to all New York and New Jersey cemeteries, Eden Memorial Chapels offer fair and balanced pricing and can provide easy transfer of you and your loved ones to Israel. While you're grieving, they're here to take care of all the details so that you deal with less bureaucracy and have more peace of mind. Go to EdenMemorial.com. That's EdenMemorial.com.